You think going on a cruise just means packing your bags, bringing your usual travel items, and showing up ready to relax. You think the rules are basically the same as they've always been. You're wrong. In 2026, cruise ships have quietly introduced new bans. Not the loud ones everyone talks about like weapons or illegal items. I'm talking about everyday things and everyday behaviors that people have brought on board for years without thinking. And if you don't know what's changed, you risk getting stopped at check-in, having your items confiscated, being fined on board, or worse, being denied boarding entirely. But if you watch this carefully and follow the phases in order, you'll move through your next cruise cleaner, faster, and with zero surprises. Let's start. Phase 1. Understanding what's actually changed before you pack. Check your cruise line's updated restricted items list. What you need to do is stop assuming last year's packing rules still apply. In 2026, many cruise lines updated their banned items lists quietly inside policy updates, not big announcements. This matters because items that were once allowed, like personal power strips, certain medical devices without documentation, and even some travel appliances, are now restricted. If you skip this step, your bag may get flagged before it even reaches your cabin. That can mean delays of several hours on embarkation day. Pro tip: some cruise lines now categorize items under a conditional approval instead of banned. That means you may still bring them, but only with pre-clearance submitted days before sailing. Verify behavior-based restrictions, not just physical items. New bans are not only about what you bring, they're about what you do. Things like holding chairs for long periods, saving spots in queues, using personal speakers in shared areas, or running informal group activities in public spaces are now enforceable violations on some ships. This matters because cruise ships are trying to manage crowd flow more tightly in 2026. Skip this, and you could receive warnings that affect your onboard privileges. Insider detail: some ships now track repeated public space complaints digitally, tied to your cabin number. Phase 2. Rethinking what you pack at home. Remove personal extension cords and multi-plug power strips. Even non-surge protected strips are being confiscated more often now. Why? Fire safety enforcement has tightened significantly. If you skip removing these, your luggage may be delayed, and you might not see it until late evening on embarkation day. Pro tip: cruise-approved USB hubs are still allowed on most ships, but they must be clearly labeled as non-surge devices. 4. Avoid bringing personal steamers and heated appliances. Clothing steamers used to be a gray area. Now, many ships treat them the same as irons. Why this matters: heating elements are seen as onboard risk factors. If skipped, your item won't just be taken. It may be held until disembarkation, meaning you'll never use it during the trip. Little known fact: wrinkle release sprays are still permitted and often overlooked as an easy substitute. Limit large quantities of packaged food. Bringing snacks used to be harmless. But in 2026, ships are tightening food import controls to reduce contamination risks. Bring too much and it may be removed during screening. And yes, even sealed items. Pro tip: individually wrapped, factory-sealed snacks are more likely to pass inspection than bulk-packed items. At Phase 3. Adjusting your tech habits. Stop bringing personal Wi-Fi routers or signal boosters. These were once a clever workaround for improving cabin connectivity. Now they're frequently banned because they interfere with ship network systems. Skip this step and your device may be confiscated after connection detection, not just during boarding. Insider detail: some ships can now detect unauthorized signal broadcasting automatically. Be careful with drones. Many travelers still pack drones assuming they'll only use them in port. But several cruise lines now prohibit bringing drones on board entirely, regardless of usage location. If skipped, you may lose the device for the entire voyage. Pro tip: some lines allow advanced declaration and storage by security until port days. Phase 4. Behavior bans on board. Don't assume balcony rules are the same. Hanging items over balcony railings is now more tightly enforced. Why this matters: safety and environmental concerns have increased. Skip this, and you could face fines or balcony access restrictions. Little known fact: some ships now use exterior cameras to monitor balcony safety compliance. Avoid public spaces set up. Setting up decorations for birthdays or gatherings in shared lounges used to be normal. In 2026, many ships classify this as unauthorized use of communal space. Skip this awareness, and your event may be shut down mid-celebration. Pro tip: private room reservations remain the safest way to host group activities. Phase 5. Managing alcohol and drink policies. Recheck alcohol limits. Cruise lines are tightening carry-on alcohol allowances. Some now restrict not just quantity, but also container size. Skip this and you may lose the item without refund. Insider detail: wine brought on board may now require digital declaration during online check-in. Don't attempt creative storage methods. Hidden flasks and disguised containers are easier to detect in 2026 screening systems. And if caught, consequences can escalate beyond confiscation. Pro tip: purchasing onboard packages often ends up cheaper than losing your carry-on supply. Phase 6. Documentation and compliance. Pre-declare medical devices. Items like CPAP machines are still allowed, but documentation is increasingly required. Skip this step and your device may be delayed in medical review. Little known fact: some ships now provide distilled water on board, but only if requested in advance. Register mobility aids early. Even small scooters may require advance notice now due to space planning. Failing to declare could mean denied boarding for the device. Phase 7. Port behavior changes. Respect reboarding timelines. Strictly, ships are less flexible about late returns. Skip this awareness, and you may find the gangway closed earlier than expected. Pro tip: port time buffers are shrinking in some itineraries. Don't bring back restricted items from ports. Local purchases like certain foods, plants, or liquids may be seized when returning to the ship. Insider detail: port re-entry screening is now stricter than embarkation screening on some routes. Traps to avoid. Assuming your last cruise experience still applies. Packing based on online advice from older forums. Treating minor rules casually. Skipping pre-declarations. These are the small mistakes that turn into big frustrations. Delays, confiscation. Even denied boarding in extreme cases. If you've cruised recently, what's something you brought on board that you now realize might not be allowed anymore?